Hi there, welcome to the Presgrove case. Today we're taking a look at the mystery of what happened to Noah's wallet. It was nowhere to be found at the party. It wasn't on Noah himself when he was found at the scene, which was the highway. It's like it just disappeared into thin air. Considering that Noah's personal phone was left behind at the party house, why wasn't the wallet left there as well? Or is there a chance that it was, along with other items of Noah, his hat, his sunglasses, his tank top, and even the golf clubs and bag? But those items went missing from the house, supposedly. So is that the same case with the wallet? Now, as for the motives behind it, you could probably work it out yourself. When it comes to true crime cases, beside evidence being disposed of, hidden, or destroyed, some people may try and profit off a person's death under those circumstances. When it came to the Dylan Rounds true crime case of 2022, it was a similar situation there where the 19-year-old Dylan, who was a farmer and had his own land and was building on it, whilst doing custom farm work elsewhere and earning money, putting it into his business, when he was taken out and murdered by James Brenner, Dylan's own wallet disappeared and the money inside the card nowhere to be found. Likely, there's a fair chance that when Brenner took Dylan Rounds out, Dylan likely had his wallet on him and Brenner stole it and may have profited off it in the moment and then disposed of the physical empty wallet itself. As for the card, well, whilst that can have great value and weight within it, it's how you use it. And because of digitally tracing and tracking for activity, bank activity, it would be too suspicious and odd. And in a circumstance where you weren't too sure about foul play or murder, and it may have just been an accident, if anyone had used a card, the victim's card, then it would come across as, well, maybe the one using it could be the person that may know more about the death of the individual. But the Dylan Brown's case was true crime and murder. The Noah Presgrove case, what we've been looking at, is undetermined and a mystery because even on the autopsy, it's not clear cut. So join me today as we do a map analysis, working out what may have happened to the wallet. Was there any motives or darkness behind it? We need to ask ourselves the question of what holds more value, what's within Noah's wallet or Noah's own personal phone, which he had with him. That was left at the party. That remained supposedly untouched. It wasn't stolen, it wasn't taken, but Noah's wallet was nowhere to be found. Now, certain circumstances, a wallet may hold more physical weight and value if there's physical cash inside, and that might be more and it exceeds the cost of a particular phone. But we've got to understand, Noah Presgrove, 19 years of age as well, similar to Dylan, starting out in life. Would you expect a person like that to have everything? No. It could be considered a contrast when you've got people in the community that have been looking at it towards the other partygoers and partygoer parents and friends, family members, labelled as deep pockets. It appears Noah didn't have deep pockets. And I think other people would say that Noah Presgrove's family doesn't have deep pockets, an example being the GoFundMe and even the reward money being $16,000. I remember it being worded as couldn't increase it anymore due to all they had, which is understandable. It does make sense, but it does bring about a bit of a contrast because before we go any further, it's important to highlight that, if there are other partygoers who have deep pockets or have the parents and family members that do, would any of them be interested in stealing Noah's wallet for that reason of financial gain? Why would they need to steal from someone when they've already got deep pockets based on what people online have been labeling and claiming? Under those circumstances, kind of creates a contradiction. I wanted to add that in now because from the perspective of some people online who push it that way, it wouldn't make sense the motive for stealing money from a wallet in that case. Another way of looking at it, though, would be if that wallet held a great level of weight and leverage on the case, if there was any touch-based DNA, if there was any blood upon it. But we'll get more into that later, as I said, visually, and a bit of a background possibly as to where Noah Presgrove may have been working at to understand how one thing led to another. And was there any follow-up done in between, any CCTV footage, things like that, to see if it all aligns perfect or not. And then the hierarchical list of evidence and where the wallet lies within it all. So make sure to stick around. I just wanted to give you a little intro there. What we do need to look at, though, is an update and a reflection on what was said in the live chat as of last night or so in regard to the wallet and other bits and bobs. Just see what people have had to say, any other questions, what need to be answered, and tie up loose ends in general. I just want to say welcome if you're currently here during this live premiere. Share your thoughts, opinions, reactions in the live chat box on the right side of the screen, and at any point or time. And for people who are watching on catch up, if you've got any thoughts or theories behind what happened to the wallet and why it disappeared beside all the other items, be sure to drop a comment down below under the video, as it will help with spreading awareness. And if you do want to support my channel, down below in the pinned comment there is a PayPal link to follow. If you want to catch up on recent videos of mine, missed out on anything, Noah Presgrove related, don't worry, the full playlist is available to watch. Top right corner where the eye symbol is up there, and when you click on it, you get a drop-down menu with some additional videos, loose ones, attached. With that all being said, the order of how we'll do it, we're going to get straight into the screenshot conversations from last night and then transition on over to a map analysis. Let's begin. With credit to Ellen and even the person called User with a meerkat profile picture, the meerkat person was the one that brought up first about Noah Presgrove getting paid. Not quite sure what job he had. Ellen, in this particular chat, adding on with a bit more context. I'll read it out now. Ellen had said, Noah's aunt, I'm guessing Robin Smith, also said that Noah got paid cash, as in physical money, and he went and bought a phone that day. Supposedly, it was a brand new iPhone. I don't think there was much money in his wallet because he also bought that ice chest, even though that's been denied. And then low down user says, Robin stated he got paid and bought the new phone, but the cooler wasn't his. Interesting. It is, because how it's worded, that Noah got paid, is that in physical money, or is that like a bank transfer or so? I mean, the reason why it matters is because it's easier to steal physical money without as much tracing and tracking than if it was something more digital. And especially post-death of Noah Presgrove, originally if seen as an accident, or nowadays seen by some as an accident, if anyone started cashing on in and taking advantage of a possible stolen card from the victim, it would probably be picked up on. And then people would be thinking, oh, there might be more to this. So, like previously, when Noah's aunt has spoken and said stuff online, there's been some rough patches not long ago where people have brought it back up about mistakes made or lies made, like with the shredded fingertips or the odd reference to maybe a private investigator or so. Some other details which I can't think of on the spot, but I'm sure you will. If Noah did get paid in physical money to get a brand new iPhone, that can cost a fair bit, in fairness. Do we know what model the iPhone was? I mean, yeah, it could well be a new one, but as in like a new model, or just an older iPhone, but it's brand new, not used or second hand? Where would he be getting it from exactly? If it's in physical money, quite a lot of that money would have gone on that phone. And I don't know if I've got it screenshotted here, but it was mentioned in the chat from last night that Noah bought his own plan, phone plan, I guess data plan and all that. So it's quite recent. I can't remember if it's on the exact day of the party or a few days before, but with having a brand new phone, it means, if you didn't know without context, you could say, oh, has the phone been wiped? Just like how people have been saying when it comes to Carter Combs' phone, because the previous phone that she had was broken in a car accident a week before, got a brand new phone, didn't have time to transfer stuff over, phone numbers and all of that. Probably also because the previous phone was so damaged that you couldn't just do a simple Wi-Fi or Bluetooth transfer because it was broken beyond. So you'd have to manually do it yourself. And with the party coming up, probably didn't think of doing it. But, as other people would say, Carter Combs isn't the victim. Noah Presgrove is. So there would be more suspicion towards a non-victim who could be a person of interest. And if the phone appears clean, it must be wiped, but not always. You can get a new phone. Noah Presgrove did the same. So whilst we're talking about Noah today, you can look at it from other points of views. Of course, the main focus is the wallet. It's the wallet that disappeared, not the phone. And, you could say maybe the phone didn't disappear because it could be traced, it could be tracked once again, whereas a wallet, if it's got no Apple AirTag, one of those trackers, like some people had, if it doesn't have any tracking or anything like that, you're not going to know, are you? So, yeah, if it's physical money on a brand new phone, a lot of the money's going to come out of that wallet for that. And then whatever's remaining on a supposed ice chest, a cooler for beer, alcohol. So for Noah to buy an ice chest, did he buy that with the direct intention and with knowledge of the party and thought, I'll take this down with me? I guess so. I'm guessing that if that's true, and when Noah Presgrove went down to the party with this ice chest, he left it there at the house, like how he did with the supposed golf clubs and bag. I know there's been counterpoints with the golf clubs saying that, well, they were either left on the bed of his truck and never taken out, or they were put back after and they weren't left at the party. We've seen those discrepancies a bit back and forth all over the place, but I just wanted to cover certain angles. At some point, I think Joyce had mentioned to it about a car washing job. I couldn't find that when I was looking back at the live chat replay, unless I'm blind. There's always a possibility. But there was other suggestions by viewers, as in where Noah was supposedly working at. So we'll have a brief look at that on the maps later. But user backed it up. Robin stated he got paid and bought the new phone. Okay, pretty simple. I mean, the less money that Noah has on him, the less likely it should go missing, the wallet, don't you think? I mean, yeah, sometimes people, if there's money in a wallet, they might take the money out, leave the wallet behind. Some people just take the whole thing and grab it and run. Opportunistic behaviour. If the person's no longer around because they're not alive, they're not going to know it's gone, missing. However, others that knew of Noah, that he would have money on him, or at least have his wallet on him, would find it odd that it's not present. With the Dylan Rounds case, there was a lot of suspicion there. There was. Even in the early days when it wasn't treated as a murder. We're taking that in mind. Ellen suggested, did Noah work at Ace Hardware? They used to pay in cash, physical money. Noah's aunt Robin said he had just got paid and went and purchased his phone all on the same day, I guess. But, we've got these discrepancies with the cooler. Was it bought? Was it not? Whose was it then? And how many coolers were at the party? Because I think I can count 2 at least. My response to Ellen. So he bought a phone. Was the physical money or card? And with it being a brand new iPhone, supposedly, was it from an Apple store official? Adding on to that conversation, Ellen suggested it could have been an Apple or Verizon store. It could have been T-Mobile or Walmart, the store itself. Brenda just got paid, bought a new iPhone on his own plan with the reference there. And Ellen, he might have went and got a phone from Walmart. Wish we knew that information. And why is it important to know that information? Because it adds a timeline of what Noah bought, when he bought it, how much it costed, how much was left over? Was it physical money? Was it some kind of digital transfer? And then when Noah's at the party, if he had money left over physically, would it still be in that wallet till this day? The wallet may have gone missing by some mystery chance. If it's not been stolen or no one's pocketed from it, then maybe the money still remains in the wallet. But if it doesn't and it's discarded, I guess maybe opportunistic behaviour. But then you could ask yourself, there was like 30 to 40 party goers at that party. Why would Noah Presgrove be the only one that loses money? Based on that theory, that idea. You could argue it's a bit of a rough assumption, but, wallet nowhere to be found. Chance that there could have been some money left over within it. So wherever that wallet has ended up, would you expect any money to be left in it or not, if there was to begin with? Or has it been stolen? I don't know if I'll do it as a poll or not, but you can always leave a comment below. I don't think we really need to do an analysis on the store or location where he bought it from, because it could be anyone, really. As for the workplace, we'll consider that. But in regard to a cooler, well, this is one example, and I think it is. It's the front patio, just in front of the porchway, the steps leading up to it. You can see where that arrow is pointing. There is a guy sat on it, and to be honest, the way it looks as if the cooler is massive and the person sat on it is tiny, but I think that's just depth of field. I believe it's a cooler. That's what other people have suggested since. That person is sat on it. Now, it makes you wonder, is that the one that Noah Presgrove brought to the party? Is it the one that he bought with his money? Would it be physical money as well? As you see, this was from Saturday. Noah on the right, Shandon on the left in the pink top. I mean, this is the first day of when Noah attended the party. So it'd been the first day he would have brought down the golf clubs and bag, brought down a supposed cooler, brought his iPhone with him, his new phone, may have showed it off to his friends, saying, look what I've got, this is what I'm using now. Also been happy and proud of it after he's worked for it and saved up in general. So it'll be a positive moment, making the most of it, but also enjoying a party with familiar faces and best friends. I think it has been suggested in the chat that Noah may have not been a full-on phone user as other people was. So he may have not been glued to it. He may have not taken as many photos or videos from the party. Would be interesting to see if there were any from his point of view for once. Instead of Noah being on the receiving end of photos and clips and moments what we've seen, what would Noah Presgrove typically be recording? Funny moments, dodgy moments, out of context things, jokes, pranks. Would he ever record himself doing a prank on someone? Just get a different background and personality and the overall atmosphere at the party to fill it out for that full understanding. Because the greater the understanding, let's just put it this way. If everything turned out positive, and even from Noah's point of view, from his phone, his footage, it makes it harder to believe that people around there could be responsible for Noah's death. But that's just from one perspective. If we saw it elsewhere, that there was darkness, there was tension, and it was hidden footage, well then that would reveal a completely different outcome or an outlook. So you let me know in the chat, do you think that is a cooler in the background? Zoom in. It has been enhanced, this photo, to try and make it a bit clearer, but it's difficult. I still think that person looks really small on that box, but it's just how it is. But look, this is the thing, what we need to acknowledge, that porch and the steps going up to it, just on the right behind where the railing is as well, there, Caden Pressey had said that when it came to 6:30 in the morning onwards, as Caden was clearing up the beer cans and stuff, and Renee Millan was present supposedly from his timeline, that when Caden got to the front porchway for whatever reason, it was all wet. There was like a wet pool or a puddle, or a wet patch at least. Some people were speculating, is that wet patch from if a person was sick, and then someone got some water, tried diluting, washing it away maybe. Other people suggested that signs of Noah Presgrove was washed with a pressure washer on a porchway, being cleaned of evidence, which seems a bit close quarters. You'd expect it to be much more wet rather than just a little puddle or a wet patch, especially if you're cleaning down a person's body and thoroughly doing it, getting rid of any evidence. And I don't know why you would be doing it on the front porch, really close to the door, really close to people on the other side where there could be noise heard, but they were the suggestions. The other one, what people brought up was maybe it was one of the ice boxes, coolers, which was being moved from room to room or taken out or taken in, and then someone spilt it all over, or just the ice, some of it fell out, and then the ice, because of the temperature, humidity, melting and creating a wet patch without it creating a major puddle. That's probably more likely the case. Would it be the cooler from, as you see here, captured Saturday as the person sat on it? Or could it be the cooler from inside? I mean, these are different days, but the other one to point out is that, and it's much bigger, or at least it appears bigger. You let me know, do you think this one on the left is different to the one on here? This is outside on the front, Saturday. This one's inside the lounge area, and then off to the right would be going off to the kitchen. This was Sunday at 10:50 p.m. as Caden was looking around with his phone. And the arrow in the background is pointing towards the entranceway of the party house, the main door. And then kind of like around there is some tables and chairs. I don't know if that's, I don't know why, like if it's a dining area in some way, or it's just a place to sit down and relax away from the main rooms, a bit of peace and quiet maybe. But let's try and focus in on this cooler on the left, if it will fit on screen. Decent size. Could this be the one that Noah Presgrove bought? And I'm wondering that wherever Noah bought his new iPhone from, did he also buy the cooler from that place? If it's like a multifunctional store which has it all, then probably Walmart would be a good option, a choice. Yeah, I'd say so. But look, this is the thing. Some people say Noah bought it, other people say Noah didn't. Some people said Noah just brought a cooler down, other people say Noah didn't bring one to begin with. I mean, all these discrepancies and all over the place. Why is it that confusing and deep? Shouldn't it be really simple? It's a cooler. You know, what's being hidden within it? Someone's frozen heart? No. A cooler full of frozen blood? No fusion transplant, nothing like that, no doctor. So why is it that deep? Why is it that complex? It's just a cooler. Is there more depth behind it? Does it link to Noah's death? I don't think it does. You know, like these simple events, even the side-by-side rollover, considering how that's gone, if that wasn't the be-all and end-all of Noah, then why is there such grey areas and a mystery around it till this day? Whether that be through poor communication or people not telling the truth, or we've just not been seen, we've not been shown the key stuff because it's being gatekept to some extent, or secretly it holds more value to Noah's death. I just mean, a simple event from at least how it's been worded, you'd think there wouldn't be much to hide or silence, and yet there has. Does that have any link indirectly to the cooler situation? But from the looks of it, if a cooler was bought probably the same day as the phone, and chances from the same place, providing it sells multiple things. Now, the reason why I did put the arrow over that way on the sideline, just to bring it up as for discussion, zoom in. You can see the door back there, and I think it is open inwards. Behind, around the door, you got some chairs. But off to the right, so like if you're walking into the house, straight on, that wooden object there, I think is a table, wooden table. And that could be where some of Noah's items were placed. Whether that applies to the wallet, that's another question, but do you remember Paul Poucher? Well, just to re-jog your mind, I've got the screenshot up on here from Facebook in a conversation. Paul Poucher, one of Noah Presgrove's cousins. You know, the only other person we've heard of all the time was Ashley Chadwick, but Paul Poucher is a cousin, supposedly, and said that evening of Noah's death, September 4th, Monday, 2023, Paul Poucher went in the evening to the party house to get Noah Presgrove's wallet and hat for his nana, Deborah Smith. I'm his cousin. The house was empty and could smell bleach like 3 feet outside the door. No one answered. So it's interesting that there was a smell of bleach. We've heard a couple of people here and there refer to that too, but when you've got one of Noah Presgrove family members firsthand talking about it, seems a little bit odd because the house was supposed to be left untouched because in case it needed to be investigated by police or the ones that were staying at the time thought, well, just leave everything as it is. Caden Pressey did say he was going to clean up the beer cans and that was it, but was there any deeper cleaning done and conducted? Obviously, beside the days after Noah's death, those claims of Kathy Bingham being a stakeout, watching the Milan family come and go and do a deep clean there with bleach. You know, if that really was the case, it just wouldn't align. You know, there's not been any hard evidence to back it up about Kathy Bingham stakeout 3 days, watching people clean the party house up. But if any of that was to be true, it wouldn't quite align with this because it appears that on the day of Noah's death, the house was already cleaned up. So why would it need to be cleaned up again days after? Exactly. Either one's right, the other one's wrong, or both are wrong, possibly. And you let me know in the comments. Do you believe in Noah Presgrove's cousin, Paul Poucher, in saying that he could smell bleach? Is there any other locations or places where bleach could be smelt and it was taken out of context? To, you know, for you to be able to smell it 3 feet outside and with the doors and windows closed, a lot must have been used. It must have been very strong. Unless that the only area where bleach was used was it the patio? I mean, let's just go back. Beside that, the patio area here and the porchway. You got Paul Poucher. We might as well demonstrate this right now, visually speaking, because we've got the wallet, which is the main focus of today. And it just so happens that for Deborah Smith, it was of interest to her, and the hat, and the same for, I guess, Paul Poucher's point of view to come and collect other items as well. But it's like Deborah Smith, I guess, knew that Noah was wearing certain clothing and knew that Noah had his wallet on him. It might also come down to because of buying the phone and if they wanted a receipt or they needed it for evidence or just because it's a personal thing to get it back, bring it home safely. And it all wanted to be done on the same day. Obviously, later on in the day, because of hearing the news of Noah's death, coming to collect the stuff, but being too late because when Paul had showed up, it didn't look like this, as in people hanging around. I guess the lights were off, no one home, but the sound of a dog barking, which will be mentioned later. But in this area, was it the ground? Was it the patio? The concrete? Was any bleach spilled or used on there to get rid of any stains? If anyone had a wee? If anyone was sick? Just like how Caden mentioned that there was a wet patch on the porchway area. Did anyone use bleach there after and before the cousin came? If anyone threw up, if there was any bad stains and they were near or close to, not in the house but outside, could that explain why Paul may have smelled bleach and assumed that it must be from inside because that's where the party took place and a lot must have been used to be able to smell it from the outside? But maybe unknown to him, it was used outside and closer to him, which he didn't know about. Let me know. I want to know your thoughts about that. It's a possibility, but really, you'd be thinking it's pointless cleaning up anything when what's happened has happened and that should be more shocking and that would take over. I know some people may try and clean up just to stay busy or distracted, especially at a tense time and a worrying time upon hearing of your friend that's died under those circumstances on the highway. But then you'd also be considering, you know, when it comes to the police. I mean, when the police supposedly came down on the Monday, post Noah's death, interviewing or just briefly questioning the people that were still at the house, Caden said he left with Brylan, Mikey and Isaac, and that was at 7 in the morning. Other people claim it was later for it to make sense for the highway to be closed off, the ODOT, to take the back roads. Renee Millan said, well, no, I didn't get there at 6:30. Caden's wrong about that. And no, I didn't tell Caden to do this or that, and I didn't tell Caden to leave. And I guess that would go in line with Caden didn't leave at that time of 7 because Renee had only just showed up around that point. So it's not just Caden's timeline conflicting with other people's and Mikey Lair's, the snap of him in bed at 5:27. It's Caden Pressey's timeline conflicting with Renee Millan, who's not even a party goer, but the mother to Jasmine and Stephanie, who were. And Renee coming gone down. Really interesting. I mean, one thing to be clear, Renee Millan, or someone on behalf of Renee Millan, had mentioned that they showed up themselves with the husband, with Stephanie and Stephanie's boyfriend returning back to the party because they were there earlier. Caden Pressey originally worded it in Partners in True Crime as just Renee showing up, but then in the police one, I think he said Renee, husband, Stephanie, Stephanie's boyfriend. And then when I asked Caden in the live chat, Caden doubled down and said yes, based on what he said in the police interview, as in Renee, husband, and so on and so on. They did come down to the party, consistent with what Renee said. So some little bits which Caden refers to detail-wise is similar to the horse's mouth, which is a good thing, but the times just don't add up. That's a problem. But anyway, linking back to any cleaning up done, was bleach used when Renee was present, when Caden was trying to clean up the beer cans in any shape or format? If not, well then, at what other point would it have been used? And it's important, that period, that was before the police came on down. After that, when the police came on down, Caden had gone, the guys had gone. The people that would have been left, I guess, would have been Stephanie, I think. Stephanie Millan, maybe Stephanie's boyfriend, whoever that person is, who was at the party. Jasmine, I guess Renee, Logan, Avery, Carter. Is that all who was there when the police showed up? If anyone can give confirmation in the live chat, that would be appreciated, those names that I've just mentioned. If there's any other names that I've not included, feel free to add them in. But yeah, Paul Poucher, evening of Noah's death, coming really late. So, you know, once the police did their questioning with the ones that were still at that house, which would have been late morning, afternoon, and so on. Once that was all done, and then the girls leaving, parents collecting whoever, taking them back home, comfortable place to grieve, to stay close together during a tough, saddening time. So I guess Avery Carter would have left with the parents, picked up or on behalf of a family member, and then taken wherever, and Logan tagging along as well, I guess, could have been close. Maybe. But either way, all departing from the house, meaning when Paul had showed up, no one's there. And on the porchway, the door itself, what happened? Because Paul, if he was looking through that glass, and to be honest, it would be hard to do so because that glass didn't really look see-through. Do you know, like when you get the patterned glass, or it's like blurry, so you can't quite make out what's through when looking through the glass? You could roughly make out the odd object or so. Maybe you could make out like a brownish object like that, but if that's where Noah's personal items were placed and temporarily put, would you be able to identify exactly what was there? Referring back to this, specifically it was Noah's wallet and hat to collect because his nana wanted them. That's understandable. And low down, Poucher, I went that evening to get his wallet and hat, mainly wallet, house smelled like bleach, bad, and no one answered the door. Well, I guess no one would answer the door if no one's present. The lights are off as well. If the lights are off, lights are on here, but if they were turned off and you're outside, you wouldn't be able to see much at all, especially if the glass isn't that clear or see-through. It's going to be blurry. There's no light inside, nothing being illuminated. It would be hard to make out. And because objects like that table is like of a darkish colour. That's not exactly glowing either, so that'll blend in, mask with the shadows and darkness. So what was Paul Poucher expecting from that after all? Because it seemed unsuccessful. Just for a little bit of reference, what else was put here? And this is in the past, just so you know. Brandy to Paul, just out of curiosity, if the house was not searched by L.E., who said the house smelled of bleach? And Paul said, well, that was himself. BC went there. So I think that's Paul and his wife had went there the evening, and that we found Noah. That's worded a bit weird. We went there the evening at the party house to collect Noah's belongings. Walking up, you could smell the bleach, and that was hours later. All they wanted, who's they? I guess Noah's family. But we were talking about Noah's grandma, Deborah Smith. Anyway, all they wanted was Noah's stuff. Could see some belongings through the glass door, and it was a ghost town. There was no one present, but there was just a dog barking. Okay. Apologies if I scared anyone's dog in the live chat. But this dog barking, whose dog was it? I mean, when you look at the 2024 nighttime footage of a stranger going on down to record the place, if you remember, there was 1 or 2 dogs outside of the property. They could have been present in 2023 at the party, maybe. But even if that was the case, if everyone had gone home or gone staying with family, parents for the time being, would they really leave a dog behind? No. Is there a chance that Paul heard a dog barking, but it was in the distance and it was by a different owner, property, different land, house? I mean, the distance from party house to other civilization, miles apart. There might be the odd of a building along or near to the highway, but there's still distance in between unless the sound travels at night when quiet and if a dog's bark is loud enough and outside of the property, then you might hear it, but you know, I mean, on the left side of the property of the party house, behind and in front, there's no buildings, so there wouldn't be any dogs there or in the fields. I mean, what's really going on here? Has someone let the dog out? Who's let the dog out? Is it just roaming about, supposedly? I mean, this is daytime, as you see, but from a different point of view. Like, look at it this way. It's daytime, but I know it's from a distance, but looking at those windows, you can't really see inside. I know there's that reflection, unless there's any curtains, blinds going across. But the doorway, just behind that vehicle over there. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, looking at it from here, where it looks dark from a distance, that's how it could look up close when the lights are off. So how would Paul be able to make out certain items and specifically linking to Noah? How exactly? I mean, when we're looking at these things, okay, like Noah's hat, Noah's sunglasses, what happened to them exactly? When it comes to Jack Newton and his hat going missing, being messed with, was it the same time as when Noah and his hat disappeared? I wonder. It's worth taking this into mind, that you could see his stuff, his belongings through the glass door. Right, so Paul couldn't specifically identify which belongings, but he knew that whatever belongings were there belonged to Noah. But how would you know? So I'm guessing, because the door is just there, that white object as it's open. If that door's closed and you're looking through that glass, you're going to be probably looking straight on at that wooden table down there. So on that table, on top of it, Noah's belongings. Now, it might have been mentioned in the community that Avery or someone gathered Noah's items up and then collected them all and placed them on that table. So that when Paul Poucher came down to collect them and looking through that window, he saw them. But There could be anyone's belongings unless it was discussed and agreed upon that, whether that be Avery or someone else, had said, hey, Paul, we're leaving Noah's personal possessions exactly here. So when you do come on down, that's where you know where to find them. So when Paul did arrive, already knowing, he anticipated that what was on the table was to be Noah's, but couldn't identify what belongings they were, whether that be the wallet, whether that be the golf club's bag, the shirt, the other shoe of Noah's phone, and so on. But look, this is the thing. Isn't there a breakdown in communication? Surely. If Paul is supposed to be coming on down to collect the items and he supposedly knows where the items are, or he knows that the items are of Noah's, there must have been some communication before that, right? Before coming on down. But clearly there's a breakdown in communication or so, as in when showing up. Not on time. You show up to the house, no one's present. Did Paul Poucher come late because he was working all day, so he had to do it on the way back home? That would be understandable. At what time in the day did Paul actually hear about Noah's death, and what was he doing through the day? You know? Because if you restrict it to time, distance, location, you might not be able to make it, or it takes time to get from one place to another. Commitments, responsibilities in the background, it's all understandable. But couldn't there have been a better way to communicate? As in, Noah's items, come collect them. But you know what is a bit of a paradoxical shift? I don't know if anyone's picked up on it. When referring back to the party house, where we want to talk about the inside or out, and I'll just use this for example because there's people on screen. We referred to items being cleaned up or moved on, disposed of, action taken quickly, if there was any foul play or staging of something. You know, the urgency behind it, doing a deep clean, bleach, stakeouts, suspicion, strange things going on, trying to cover up the truth. That's what some people have said online. We've not looked at it, though, from the other point of view, where you've got supposedly certain victims' families, Noah Presgrove's family, the victim's family, who supposedly immediately want Noah's personal possessions collected. Now, in all fairness, we don't know why they wanted them collected, or at least to my memory. Maybe Deborah Smith, Paul Poucher, and so on wanted those items to be collected urgently because of them containing possible evidence to explain as to what happened to Noah. They wanted to collect those items urgently before it was too late. If it wasn't that, and it was just because they wanted them to be close to Noah, to make sure everything's all in order, couldn't that have waited another day? Because what's more important is being close to Noah physically, or being close to one another and holding on to what you already have, such as at the house and nearby and so on, and like Noah's vehicle, which is where it is at home. It's just, it all happening on the same day. I just find it interesting, because if people push it that certain party goers or friends or family of family may have wanted to clean up and move items and dispose of stuff as soon as possible to avoid any questioning, to cover up the truth, is there any questioning behind why there was such urgency behind the victim's family wanting to get Noah's possessions as fast as possible, when shouldn't that be the police's job? What was the police doing? I mean, we don't know exactly what possessions were on that table, which Paul couldn't identify, but he knew that they did belong to Noah. Was one of the items the wallet? Because if it's the wallet, well, later on it disappeared. If it's the shoe, if it's the hat, if it's the top, the golf clubs and bag, well, they disappeared afterwards. What I would like to know is, with Paul, okay, he tried going on down to the house on the Monday in the evening. Was that poor timing? Was there no planned schedule? Was there any communication from the get-go that Paul announced that he was coming on down to the house? That anyone from the house had said, sorry, we're leaving, we need to get away because it's a tough time, you'll have to come back another day to collect the items. And as for who collected Noah's items and put them on that table over there, why? Why gather and put them all there? What about earlier on in the day when police came down to talk with the people, ask a few questions about Noah, the party? Why didn't the police at the time collect Noah's items and then take them away to be processed for evidence and whatnot? Is it because with the police failing to do that Noah's grandmother felt, well, you know, they need to be collected as well? But for that to happen, Noah's grandmother and any other family member in between would have to have communication with police to be told that some items were taken, other items were left behind. And then the family could be like, well, why didn't you collect them to at least bring them back to us? Or why didn't you collect them as well, just in case it's got evidence on? And because the police supposedly failed that completely or partially, then they wanted someone who lives nearby, who's on the way back, to go and collect the rest of Noah's items all on the same day. That could explain the urgency, wanting to gather everything to ensure that no evidence is wasted or lost. Gathering all items to maintain and keep that closure and that memory of Noah alive and the scent and all of that, not wanting to lose anything because that would be painful and hurtful, right? Clothing, a top, a photo, anything personal in possession of the victim. Yeah, it makes sense that. But, okay, Noah's phone, the new one which he bought, the iPhone, that was left at the house when Noah had walked away, whether that be because he forgot it, he didn't need it at the time, or partygoers had hid it from Noah, which is unfortunate. We'll do a separate video on that someday. But when the police went on down to the house on the Monday, the 4th, questioning, did the police immediately on that day of the 4th collect Noah's phone? Because if they did they neglect the other items of Noah, like the wallet and a shoe, a hat, sunglasses, golf clubs and bag? Did they just prioritise the phone? Or was the phone left behind as well and then later handed in? I can't remember every detail because I wasn't present at the beginning of the case. But if anyone can answer that, that'd be appreciated, because you never know what you may know of and what I question in between. It could create more unanswered questions. It's just weird. Either Paul Poucher, if he wasn't told about the items of Noah and where they would be, Paul must have X-ray vision and know what's up, or there was communication, but a breakdown in timing, showing up too late when the people had already left. And the other question is, did Paul try going back to the house the next day or the day after? What happened with that? There didn't seem to be a follow-up or a mention. It's just went down there on the day of Noah's death, was supposed to collect the items, specifically the wallet and hat. No mention of the phone. Either that's because the police had already taken it earlier, so there was no need for that, or they didn't consider it. But unsuccessful. All they got was a dog barking and some bleach. Great. Did they go back the next day? Day later? Week later? Or was that it? Game over? It's that what if. What if Paul Poucher had come on down earlier in the day to collect the items? How many of those items would be ticked off the list now? Because like we talk about golf club's bag, we talk about the hat, we talk about the top, we talk about the other shoe, we talk about the sunglasses, we talk about the wallet, and anything else which you could think of, which missing. How many of those missing items would have been successfully retrieved if Paul had gone down there earlier in the day? And look, you can't always be perfect as in timing and being present and showing up. It's one of those things in general in life. What's meant to be is meant to be. What's meant to be will not pass you. You or it will find you another day. It's not the end of the world. So it's like destiny. And some of these people would have desired and wanted and needed Noah's items to collect them. You'd think the friends of Noah would value that as well and keep them all safe for the sake of themselves and what they feel, and for the sake of the victim's family. Keep them all together in a safe place. But what happened past that point? What ultimately happened? Are we saying that during that stakeout of Kathy Bingham on the dirt road, hiding in the bushes, camouflaged, as the Milan family are coming and going from the house doing a deep clean, did they accidentally move Noah's personal items without thinking and chuck them away? What's really going on? If they're all gathered on a table, how did they go missing after that point? Supposedly, these items didn't go missing during the party, or a few didn't, but they did after Paul Poucher tried collecting them and was unsuccessful. Yeah, it's unusual. It's strange, and we'll talk about other items now. We still refer back to the wallet because that's what this video is about specifically. But I just wanted to add this on for extra layers. This particular photo, Saturday, look at Noah, sunglasses, hat, they're missing. Well, that's what they were described as, missing. Were those items what you see up there? Were those on the table? Is that what Paul Poucher saw through the window exactly? The glass? Who knows? As for Jack, that mention of his hat not being present, losing that, saying to Caleb, 553's father, can you get me a spare or a new hat? Someone messed with mine. Messing, does that imply stolen? If someone stole Jack's hat, did they also steal Noah Presgrove's wallet? And if any of those items were stolen, was that before or after Noah's death? And was it before or after Paul Poucher came on down to the house to try and collect some of those items? It makes you think. Now, in regard to the backstory to Noah working and earning to some extent, some other examples beside an Ace Hardware store, one individual suggested they think that he worked at a grocery store in Comanche, Delbert's. Another person had said, I thought I read he worked at a car wash place, but I'm not sure. Also, Joyce Begower, I think, last night or so in the live chat had mentioned about a car wash. But when I looked back at the live chat replay, I couldn't seem to find that comment unless it was mentioned early on and it disappeared in the chat. But we can apply that to the maps just to get a general idea. Interestingly, for some reason, some of these search results have actually showed up on screen all at once. I don't know if they're going to remain like that. They may not. But we're just going to go through it bit by bit. This is Comanche. I believe this is where Noah Presgrove was at and where he would have operated. It would have made sense. I said, I don't always look too deep into personal locations, right? Especially in this case, because it's all about the party house and the highway. But the reason why we're looking at these workplaces or possible locations is to get an idea of distance, get an idea of the visual look and how it was for Noah on a regular basis and on the day of when getting paid, supposedly, whether that be physical, whether that be digital, and how he went about in buying the phone. Just to give you like a boots on ground point of view, Comanche Home and Hardware Centre, I don't think that's the... No, I don't think that is the Ace Hardware one. Car wash. Let's look at the car wash first of all. I mean, you could get portable car washers, then you, like self-employment, and then you get like a business. And this is at least one that shows up. So let's just have a look and see what this is about. 3B car wash. Did Noah Presgrove work here? Let's see what this looks like. Maybe not. This looks, I could be wrong, it looks unmanned. There's like a building there, maybe there's a guard or someone that works in there, but it's more like you go in and then you pay. I don't know where the machines are where you pay at. To be honest, I don't know what those entranceways are. I can see in the back where the machines are, the pressure washers and all of that. Yeah. It's not quite manual, but semi-manual car washing. It's not where you just go there, park up, drive, and then someone else does it for you, or at least from the looks of it. I mean, it's wet there, so it's in use. Oh, that that looks like where the mechanism is, the machinery. So you probably got the choice of do it yourself back there or use one of the machines. Okay, so based on how this is operated, I don't know if Noah Presgrove would have been working at this one in particular, but at least it seems to be the only one that showed up on screen. Makes me think, though, those other stores, what we looked at, unless there's a car washing part there, I might use one as an example shortly. Why is the wall wet? Has someone been using the pressure washer on the wall? God, they're going to destroy it. Oh, there you go. You can go in this way. This is probably how you get in. Is there a sign there? Brown's Car Wash, Magic Hand. Ooh, magic touch. Almost as good as mine. Shh. So we got the machines about there. Okay. Look at that hose. That's a thick hose, that. In the bin. Can we go into it? No, we can't. Okay. I just wanted to get the different angles. It just looks like one of those unmanned car washes where you've got to pay for it at the machine itself or somewhere. Just looks a bit different compared to the UK, I guess. A little bit different. I just wanted to give you the... No, don't go that way. I wanted to go the other way. You can go back in time. Not sure how much use that would be. What does that say? Electric? I don't know. It's unrelated. And sometimes when you get, not that one, but when you get petrol gas stations, they can have their own little car wash themselves. I mean, if Noah was working at a car wash, is he manually washing the cars himself or at the car wash but a different role? Go back in time. There we go. We got someone. 2013. Who's that guy there? What's he doing with those brushes? I just wanted to see if there was like any footage of any workers on site assisting, doing the washing themselves. It doesn't seem to be the case. Like that one, for example. Which button is it? That one there. Oh, why does it do that? It's so silly when you move across. There you go. Got some cars being cleaned there. Maybe... Yeah. Any other angles? No, we'll leave it like that. Don't need to spend too long on it. Delbert Supermarket, we need to do that one. Duncan Detail Mobile Detailing. What's this one? Quick look here. Oh boy. Definitely mobile. Roofing. It might need a bit more than roofing. Can't get close to that one. DJ Market. What's that? It's a store. Not much to it. Wasn't too sure it'd be like cleaning service. Freebie Industries. Lots of barrels. Let's hope there's no acid in them. Only joking. What are you doing down there? Right. Let's go to Delbert's Supermarket because this was a reference. There was some photos, but not much on the inside, so there's no need to look at that. I think we've got a 360-degree imagery here. There we go. Car park itself. It doesn't look this wonky, the road. It's just... It's 360 like fisheye. But this was an example what someone was suggesting that Noah Presgrove was working at Delbert's Supermarket. Working at a place like this, would you be paid in cash in hand? Would you have that option and choice? I mean, if Noah Presgrove got paid digitally and he had a card and then he went to a place to buy his iPhone with a bank transfer card, probably based on the price of the phone, it wouldn't be contactless. You have to do chip and PIN. Nevertheless, if most of the payment came from a card, it could mean that his wallet was pretty much empty. So really, there'd be no reason for anyone to steal Noah's wallet or do anything with it if it's empty. You know, if there was any opportunistic behaviour, if there's nothing there, it won't be of people's interest. A closer look at it. The only thing to mention, there is an ATM So to draw money out. I'm not saying that's the case. Is it possible, just as an example, if Noah was working at a place like this and he just got paid, could he have gone round the back, gone near to where it be the store one or across the street, wherever, gone to the ATM, drawn money out that way, possibly? That's another way of looking at it. Oh my God, there's a fly. Get rid of that fly. There we go. Noah could have used the ATM to get the money that way, to fill up the wallet and then go off to the store and buy it. Maybe that's just the way he wanted it. I mean, you got to look at it this way. If Noah wasn't paid like cash in hand, but he wanted that cash physically to then spend it, it would be understandable, because it's whether it be first time getting paid or a new job. For the person, it could be considered exciting, so you just want to draw it out as fast as possible, as much as you want to spend it, because physically spending it, holding the physical money in your hand, can feel more satisfying, more value than a plastic thin card, which is just like a key to unlocking it, which it's stored behind digitally. You know, it feels more real when you've got the money in your hand. It can make things not as practical these days when carrying such amounts. It can make you a target as well, and all of that, more risky. But maybe for Noah Presgrove, as much as he wanted to spend it, because he was excited, he wanted to see the money visually and not just on a digital screen. So that's like merging the gap of getting paid but also drawing it out if it wasn't physical in the first place. Now I'll just throw that in there. Beside the supermarket, do we have any other places we need to look at here? The hardware centre, which I don't know if that's the correct one. We'll have a quick look anyway. Hardware, no, not from the looks of it. I mean, it'd be weird if at any point when, you know, do these like map analysis and stuff, if there was something strange caught on camera, street view, which was of interest to the case. Very unlikely, but you've always got to keep your eyes open just in case. Did I type in the Ace hardware? I think I just did Oklahoma, didn't I? Ace 66 hardware, which one would it be? Ace hardware, Ardmore, Duncan, Home and Hardware Centre. Well, we did that one, didn't we? Yeah. So the next one could be, or should be, Duncan, for example. Which one's closer? Probably Duncan, from the looks of it. There's more than one version. Let's see. Heating, cooling, Ace hardware. A place like this. What stores do we have? Factory, meat. We've got some other stores. Well, I'm not going to be reviewing them. What's this person doing now? I don't know what that is. My God, it's all over the place. Ah, that's a coincidence. Look at that. T-Mobile. I'm not saying that that's the case, but it was suggested earlier that Noah could have bought it from T-Mobile. I mean, it'd be ideal, like if you were working at a certain place and then across the road, street, car park, the place was there where you could buy your phone. I'm not saying that's the fact, but it's just a coincidence with what's here. I mean, you know, some of these buildings will have, or most should have CCTV. Wait, Taco Bueno? No bueno? Where's T-Mobile gone? Oh, gosh. It's gone. Where's it gone? There it is, it's back again. What date are we on? 2023. And this, 2018. That's okay. April 2022. Right, so it's been there since. So an example like this could be where Noah got his phone from. How long did Noah have to play with his phone before going to the party? Because he at least took it with him. And did he make use of it, as in calling, texting? Was he as heavy on it as other people were? There might be some grey areas there, but, you know, family members would know, especially if they've seen the phone or it's been handed over since, the call logs and all that, which should be documented. The only thing that I would say, it's not being brought up public. Maybe it would be brought up if it was true or if it was that important, maybe. I'll just say it anyway. Once again, as a contrast, whilst the main focus is on party goers wiping their phones, factory resetting, is it possible that Noah Presgrove's iPhone was ever factory reset or wiped? Even if he just bought it and he didn't have much time to use it, he may have put on the odd phone number or transferred some stuff over. You've got to take in mind that Noah Presgrove did have his previous phone, his Android one, at his place of living, which was with Deborah Smith. So with Noah having the Android phone and the iPhone, you can transfer the stuff over. That's like what I did. And, depending on how much material, how many photos, videos, apps you have, it can take some time, but it's friendly despite the clashes of brands. Android welcomes Apple and vice versa from the looks of it, and I was able to do it. So Noah may have done the same thing on the same day, got back home and said to Deborah, oh, look what I've got, new iPhone, and transferred all the stuff over and was excited for the party, everything all coming together. You could put that argument across. So if that did happen, and Noah had some material on his new phone, was that factory reset? Was it wiped at any point? Who by them? Well, not Noah, but did any party goers wipe Noah's phone? It's just a question because the ones that feel that there is foul play like to push it on the party goers' phones and not Noah's. It's important to understand what happened to Noah's phone because that's rich evidence if it was present at the time. Let's click that off just for now. Oh, maybe not. Why is it taking me here? I don't want to be here. Get me out. Okay. Right, can it let me go? I just wanted to go back to the party house. Make sure we're facing the correct way, first of all. Okay. I'm not an expert with this because... Oh, there we go. Maybe I am. I've been able to pinpoint the place fairly quick. The party house itself, back here. Taking this in mind, Noah's phone, how important is it as for evidence in the case? Well, if it was on Noah, if there was any pings, obviously very important. Any final calls, any final text, very important. Any photos, videos, documentation, very important. But because it was left behind at the house and Noah didn't take it with him, how important was it to Noah? Some say it was left because it was hidden. Who would that benefit? Would that be convenient for anyone? As said, I'm going to do a separate video on that. But what about the wallet? Let's not neglect the wallet. Possibly it's the wallet which is the enabling factor behind the phone. You wouldn't have the phone if you didn't have the wallet, because the wallet may contain the physical money that Noah wanted and used, or it's got the card in, which is used as the key to unlocking the bank and all that. So that's why the wallet's important. If there's any leftover money in that wallet, which Noah had on him at the time when coming down to the party, when Noah was coming back and forth from Saturday to Monday, did Noah have his wallet on him all times? People could say, well, yeah, because it's like a phone, you have it on you at all times. It also comes down to, depending on what you're doing and where you're going. If you're just going on a walk, you probably don't need to take your phone with you, or more so your wallet. You might take your phone with you, you need to make a call, help, in danger, or you wanted to take a photo, but a wallet, unless you were calling back somewhere on the way back, or meeting up with someone, you're not always desperate for it or need it. But then again, if you're in a vehicle, you might need your wallet. You will need your wallet. Oh God, it sounds bad me saying that. Then again, because of, I guess, driver's license, card, if you need to refill on the way back or forth, all in one place, keep it with you at all times. I get that, yeah. But as for Noah Presgrove, leaving the phone behind at the party, did Noah leave his wallet at the party? That's a missing item till this day, but did Noah leave it behind, or when he walked away from the house? Get that bar off. When he walked away from the house, did he have the wallet in his pockets? I mean, he's got his shorts, And at times at the party, it looked like he had a can in his short pocket. At one point, there was a bulge where it may have been his phone in his shorts pocket. Did Noah put his wallet in his shorts pocket? I mean, it's a valuable item, and it holds a few sensitive details inside of the wallet: money, card, I guess driver's license, and things like that. Let's go on to Street View for a second, just here, because we need to head down the highway shortly. Unfinished business in a way. Zooming in down there at the house itself, I want to know your thoughts on the matter. What do you think happened to the wallet? You know, Paul Poucher may have been going to get it, as in post-death of Noah, whether it was on the table or not when looking through the window at that point. It was already long gone by then. It was left at the house. And that's why Paul was going there to collect it. Then it implies that when Noah walked away, Noah left his wallet behind. But when you're at a party and there's 30 to 40 people collectively over the days, is it safe to be leaving your phone about at a party when there's other people present? Anyone could snatch it. I know you could say, well, is anyone dumb enough to snatch it if it's going to trace or track or show pings? Sometimes opportunistic behaviour, or if people are drunk, they may not think of the consequences. The phone was left as it was, so that's a positive. But the wallet wasn't. I guess when walking away to cool off, you don't need to take your wallet with you. You might take your phone with you to cool off because you might use it as a distraction, play a video game on it, look back at some photos, happy memories, text someone, call someone. But other people just want to go hard mode and have nothing beside them, no distractions, no electronic devices, just nature, air, and sound of animals, or in this case, cars going down the highway. Just for total peace, disconnect, and shutting out the world whilst being within it. That's possible. But look, there are those suggestions that people had hid Noah's phone. If that's the case, did they hide Noah's wallet as well? Hidden or not, I don't think Noah would have taken it with him when walking away. That's my opinion. But when it came to the Dylan Rounds case, whilst Dylan was on the go, on the move, doing the farm work or finishing off some bits and bobs, he kept the wallet on him almost at all times because he was coming and going from different places and doing some payments here and there and transfers. It makes sense for that circumstance. But I just want to know, where would Noah put his wallet? You know, you come on down to the party, you're wearing shorts. Those shorts probably don't have zips or buttons, so they're just loosely in the pocket, whether you've got deep pockets or not, and I don't mean money, I just mean actual deep pockets. So did Noah just show up to the party and then take the wallet out and then, put it on the table? It just seems so risky. Yes, you're supposed to be around friends, but if there's 30 to 40 people there over the time, were 40 people friends with Noah and familiar, or were there some strangers? Because if you don't know Noah and they don't know you, there may be a moment where someone might take advantage. But why Noah? Once again, why would it be Noah's items and possessions which go missing and no one else's? Did they go missing when Noah had died? Did they go missing because Noah had them on him? Did they go missing because they need to be disposed of? Any evidence? Or the wallet specifically? But if Noah had left it behind like how he did with the phone, hidden or not... Sorry about the glitching, it's just to get to the spot where we need to be. Hidden or not, you know, where would Noah have placed the items? Because look at it like this. If your phone is brand new, you're going to take extra care of it, especially in the early days. You're going to be proud of it, or you could be. You got your wallet, the money, or the key to the money. If you got a card, maybe Noah did. You think you'd keep it all close to you. But then again, with Noah being drunk, you might forget that and be a bit reckless or careless, forgetful. Anyone else present could, take advantage of that and steal. Now, stealing from a person who's alive is bad. Stealing from a person who's died, especially under certain circumstances, is beyond bad. So I'm just wondering, A person who may have stolen Noah's wallet may have not known what was to come next, and whether they regret it or not, that's another thing. It's like the items overall which have gone missing, did they all go missing at the same time? Make sure I don't go past the area. Does anyone know, did the items all go missing at the same exact time, or was it over the course of hours, minutes, days? What's the situation we're dealing with exactly? Oh, have I already gone too far past it? Let me just see. Because, when it comes to these culverts, I probably have gone past it. Shit. Yeah, as for the culverts, could they have been an area of interest at any moment? Oh, there we go. Why did we go past it? I don't get that. It's blurry, that's why. Not ideal. Alright. It's 2013? Is that one there? Oh my. Just use this as background. If you want to share your thoughts in the live chat, you can do so. But I think some people may have taken inspiration of the culverts in recent time. Like a spot where things could have been disposed of. It really dips down there. It's really deep down there in that particular spot. It's quite shocking. And then the one just here on the right. No, not back. Down there. How it dips down whilst Noah was on the side of the highway, the hard shoulder area. The culvert itself could have played a bit of a factor at some point, see? Oh, is this it? There we go. Somewhere like down there. But in fairness, Noah was a bit further down that way south, not up this way. There's a bit of distance between, just a bit. So if Noah wasn't here, he was down there, I don't think his items would end up further spread out. But an example like this, to dispose of certain items, throwing away a wallet of all things, would it be a reason to throw away a wallet, dispose of, if it was left behind at the house, just like the phone? As long as Noah wasn't in possession of a certain item at the time of his death, there's no reason for it to be chucked away, because it's the items on the person at the time of the action, the bad event, which is the storytelling pieces, the incriminating evidence, that needs to be dealt with. Just thought I'd bring that up on the spot. Might as well whilst I'm here. But it just seems like the wallet has disappeared, and it's just trying to work out exactly when it really happened. All in all, one thing I think has happened is some items of Noah has been overshadowed, like the golf clubs and bag, because people associate that with a murder weapon compared to a wallet people see as insignificant. But both items can be very important in different ways. In a general scenario, pair of golf clubs, bag, whatever, gone missing, and were in possession of the victim at one point, could have been used as an item against the person, a weapon, And because they've gone missing now, maybe they're disposed of to get rid of the evidence. But the reason why the wallet is just as important, but in different ways, is it could have been what was on Noah at the time. An item of his, or him borrowing an item which belonged to a family member, was used against him. But an item which belonged to him, that he owned and held close to him personally, was taken from him. Different levels of disrespect, you could call it. It's a form of external desecration in a way, especially if things were taken and adjusted post-death of Noah. Still, don't know if Noah left his wallet behind at the party or not. If it's left behind, wouldn't be a need to dispose of it, really. It shouldn't be incriminating evidence unless a person wanted to take the money from inside of the wallet, and it was better to take the whole wallet than leave a wallet behind with no money in, because if somehow people knew that Noah had drawn money out earlier in the day, they could work out how much was left in that wallet later on, for example, and think, well, it's gone, so someone's stolen it, so there must be foul play, it must link. You take the whole wallet, nowhere to be found. You don't know if money has been taken or not. But if you do know that money's in the wallet and the wallet's not present, the money has been taken, but has the wallet been disposed of? Was the money taken out quick, then the wallet chucked elsewhere? Some people can see a wallet and think, they don't care what the outside looks like, all they care about is what's on the inside. And once again, is it before or after Noah's death? Because then that could show the situation, how bad it really is. It's not quite a simple messing with someone's hat. It's messing with someone's money, messing with someone's life. Maybe you can't use that word quite the same with Noah, especially if it's post-death. But you get the idea. A person's life and their money and what they have, and it's been taken away, it can impact them greatly. And someone else's gain, advantage, another person's vulnerable time or moment, or they're just not able to fight back because they're not actually present anymore. I guess I just consider it because of the Dylan Rounds case and what happened with that. The wallet disappeared, was never found, money disappeared. It was said that Dylan Rounds had about $140 or drew that amount out, and he had it in his wallet at the time. But it wasn't found, so it may have been likely stolen. Would it have been by Brenner? Well, Brenner was the one to kill Dylan and take the phone, so maybe he took the money as well and then spent it elsewhere. That's a possibility. You let me know in the comment section as to what you think about this. We'll cover other areas as well onwards and reflect back on things that need tying up. But for now, be sure to hit the like button, thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. If you want to share the video as well, spread that awareness. And if you're on mobile, tablet device, down below in the comments, swipe across, hit the hype button so it gets put out there more. That being said, my name's White Raff. Thanks for watching, and shout out to those that had watched in the background too. Goodbye and take care for now.